Hello, friends. Welcome back to A Nightmare on Fear Street. I am Scylla Sheree, and I am in here with another Fear Street review because that's how that works. Today, I'm here to talk to you about Widow's Bay on Apple TV. I got the screeners last Thursday, and I binged that bitch. Um, I don't know me, so there might be a couple of spoilers. I'm supposed to try and keep it spoiler free, and I really do fucking try. But if you're like me, you don't want to know anything, and so stop this. Come back later after you start watching it, because like the first two episodes are fair game. That's all I know about that. Okay, so anyway, synopsis for Widow's Bay. A skeptical mayor leads the superstitious residents of a cursed New England island. I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw that, I was like, we don't want any Stephen King miniseries situation that's supposed to be funny. I don't know how that's gonna work. However, this is the perfect blend of humor and horror. It's giving Schitt's Creek ensemble with flickers of your favorite horror subgenres that slowly start to fight for equal footing. I don't want to get too specific because I'm not supposed to ruin later episodes, but like it gets scarier as it goes. Not saying it doesn't start off with a little bit of razzle dazzle. But the longer you stick with it, the scarier it gets, the more intense it gets, and the more you understand what it's really doing. I will also say, because I'm a wild girl, my favorite episodes are in the back half of the season, because again, that's when things get scarier. That's when things get a little bit more frightening. That's when things get turned up and we start playing in the subgenres that I really fucking adore and love. Highly recommend, highly recommend. It makes sense that the melding of these two genres works so seamlessly and in such a fucking cool way. We have so many people who worked on Parks and Rec in Atlanta at the helm. We also have them calling in their friends from both horror and comedy, and I'm not supposed to ruin any of those guests or directors. The internet is out there, but I think it's hidden for reasons. And if you want to enjoy the ride, I think you should enjoy the ride because there's definitely a few episodes where you're just like, this was like a so and so, and then it's a so and so. Magic. So, for those of you who are not familiar here, Matthew Rhys is the lead. We love a Matthew Rhys moment. He's surrounded by people who know how to steal a scene, though, and I don't get to see him have a lot of fun because I saw him mostly in The Americans and other sad things. And so it was delightful seeing him fight for his life with comedians. It was delightful seeing him land those jokes and also just be fucking terrified. Again, I love this genre of random older white guys being tortured and haunted by islands and lands and all of this. Mwah. Uh, he reminded me of the mayor from like Jaws, but you could pick any like random authority from a small town horror movie. Like Great Value will do. It doesn't really matter, but he values tourist dollars over their constituents. And it was kind of fun to see that begin to unravel as he figured out what was or was not happening. This is a show that again plays with him and plays with the audience, and so for a while you're not sure if you believe and what you believe and why it is, and then you start to get the answers and you're like, oh shit. There are also some other familiar faces, if I could stop having coffee, uh, on screen, like Stephen Root, Dale Dickey, and Kevin Carroll. So you already get a sense of what kind of humor is on display here. Stephen Root is giving us like a weird Ron Swanson-esque character who happens to believe in the supernatural, which is very anti-Ron Swanson. It's kind of fun to see, and it pairs well with Kate O'Flynn, who is like the VIP of the series for me. I love everybody. I love everybody, what they're doing, what they're given to work with, but I was not familiar with her game. She's the face that I was the most unfamiliar with, like looking at everybody as they were coming and going. And I'm not gonna lie, her Patricia reminds me of Allison Brie on Community. They even sound alike. They have a similar look, but like she's made it to her 30s and the light is dulled in her eyes a little bit more. And so I saw myself in her. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but she's a delight. I think that she is definitely one of the performances to watch. And her journey to get where she is going is also a whole fucking hoot and a half. Also plays well with the Stephen Root character and some of the other characters who feel like riffs and nods to other characters we've known in sitcoms from the last 20 years. I was a sitcom bitch because I was going to write for TV. We're also not getting into that because light is dull in the eyes. But she gets to do a lot of fun shit, as is everybody in this ensemble, which is why it's fun, which is why it made me think of like the Schitt's Creek Council. It's why it made me think of the Parks and Rec ensemble. It's why I can clock the Alison Brie playing Annie of it all in here because again, this is a world that understands both the sitcom and the horror, and it's shimmying and shaking them up in a lovely blender of blood. Anywho's, the show also enjoys playing with us as much as Tom, who is Matthew Reese's character, our mayor, who is sad, tortured, and skeptical. He also has a kid, and him and his kid are not getting along because of some mama trauma and other things that they were gonna figure out. I will not say what, because again, I'm supposed to talk to you about the first 2 episodes, even though I binge this bitch because it's fun. I want to talk about it all. But anywho's, it starts to inject that horror very quickly, like I said. So within the first episode, you are reminded it's supposed to be a horror comedy, not a comedy with horror elements. And from there, it just sort of grows rapidly. It's like we were on a simmer, and all of a sudden we were completely turned all the way fuck up. Lots of notches every episode. Lots of notches. There's again so many things that remind you of your favorite subgenres. Remind you of your favorite horror baddies. And I think it's going to be really fun for all of us because again, we've missed fun scares on TV because we've been getting a lot of real life scares, and it's not the same. So if you're not feeling the scares at first, or if you're like, oh, that was cute, stick around because it's coming for you. Just you fucking wait. It's coming for you. Um, Overall, this show is a good time and possibly the best reason to have an Apple TV subscription this year. I'm just going to go ahead and call it. Whether you miss seeing Matthew Reese be tortured on The Americans, or whether you missed having a fun ensemble in a small town with big personalities, or you just missed having fun scares in the darkest of timelines, there is something here for everybody. I think that it is also just really fucking wicked. I cannot wait for the discourse. I cannot wait for the people to see what I have seen. Whew, child. Anywho's, I clearly like it. I'm giving it 4 Widow's Kisses out of 5. That's a fun drink. I'm gonna go have one of those soon, hopefully. You can catch Widow's Bay on Apple TV on Wednesdays. Let me know in the comments if you also like it, or if you don't like it, just be respectful because I am still me. Thanks to Market for sending this first season over so I could binge the hell out of it. This is an indie podcast, so a little help goes a long way. And getting screeners is a huge help. That's an indie podcast. So thank you. Enjoy your binge or enjoy watching it in real time if you don't take it like a shot like I did. Anywho, that's what I got this week's. Bye.